How you doing, everyone? This is Rev-Jess Foglesong from touchedbygodchurch.com. You'll find us online and also online, Facebook, Touched by God Church Ministries, World Ministries. Let's take a look. Our message is a continuation of part 1, Earth, an arena of war. It's a spiritual war, all right? And we're continuing here. So let's take a look, all right? Now, all you have to do is go through the Bible only a short distance before you realize the near success of Satan and his plan. In just a few short years, Satan so totally dominated the course of history that the wickedness of man was at a saturation point. So then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great on earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil, evil continually. You can find that in Genesis 6, verse 5. Had the course of history followed as it was going through, would have been an impossibility for the Redeemer to be born. All of mankind would have been lost, but God is not indifferent to our needs. He did not simply create a wonderful universe and then, like an absentee landlord, leave it for our ruling. Earth is not like a giant clock with a mainspring that is slowly winding down. God is personally involved with our needs. He is concerned. Knowing the course of events and seeing what Satan was doing, he extended his grace. He extended his grace. That which the Bible records as the flood is the historical way of revealing his love and grace of God. Had God not intervened, mankind would have totally surrendered to the power of Satan, and all hope of a restoration with God would have been lost. The promise of Genesis 3:15 would yet find fulfillment after the new beginning recorded in Genesis 6. Not long after this, God worked with one the Bible calls Abraham, to develop a people allegiant to the will of God. Genesis 12 begins this account. The special relationship with Israel came out of this. Satan watched as this new relationship developed. He stepped up his campaign against God and put even greater pressure upon the human race. That which he introduced at this time in history because he was nervous about this special relationship with Abraham and Israel. It has not subsided to this very day. Anti-Semitism was born out of Satan's fear that this promised Redeemer would soon arrive through the lineage of Abraham. Today's feelings of anti-Semitism are not accidental, as Satan's concentrated upon destroying the purpose of God through destroying the people of God called to be his. It is important to understand that because God worked with this group of people in a special way, it does not mean they are better than or a greater value than any others. The Lord did not set his love on you nor choose you because you were in number than any of the peoples. For you were the fewest of all peoples. But because the Lord loved you and kept the oath which he swore to your forefathers, the Lord brought you out of a mighty hand and redeemed you from the house of slavery, from the land of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Take a look at Deuteronomy 7, verse 7 and 8. So God chose Abraham and his descendants to be instruments of his grace. The people were ordinary, but relationship was special. God needed a foothold in the human race from which he could operate. The descendants of Abraham became his foothold. Not better than, not greater than, but unique because of their relationship with God. The course of the Old Testament history is the course of a gigantic struggle between the forces of good and evil, and it is illustrated in the everyday lives of these people. If the Bible says anything, it says the struggle between Christ and Satan over mankind's allegiance is a real one. Repeatedly, the nation of Israel is in a crisis situation because it refused to follow the will of God. The pages of the Old Testament history are complete with the folly of human independence from God. Battle after battle, problem after problem, revealed this struggle. Satan worked feverishly to destroy our allegiance with God. Earth had indeed become an arena of war. Now, all of that history reflects in who we are today. The people of Earth, the nation of America. What happened to the Israelites seems to be what happening today. We have literally turned our backs toward God. So we need to stop and take a look, and as a nation we need to turn back to Him. Otherwise, something like what happened to the Israelites may be happening to us at this moment. So let's continue on, all right? Somewhere in this line of people there would come a Redeemer that would crush and destroy the power of Satan. He would vindicate and exonerate God, because Satan did not know exactly when this Redeemer would arrive. He intensified his charges against God, and especially through Israel's relationship with God. He worked from both the inside and the outside, bringing pressure points. He tried desperately to break the covenant relationship that God set up. He tried to break them as a nation and a people at several times they were in subjection to our nations. He tried to break them as a nation and a people at several times. They were in subjection to our nations. He would do anything to sidetrack them from preparing for the Redeemer. He led the people to follow the false gods, sparking one of the greatest tragedies of Israel, the captivity of God's people by an oppressive power. The book of Daniel reflects this tragedy, idolatry and revolt, including a dividing of the very nation of Israel itself, were other problems that which they had to do to contend. The 10 tribes of the north, Israel, and the 2 tribes of the south, Judah, became scattered and dispersed people. This would better serve Satan's purposes, for it would isolate them from the very central purposes. They would no longer be one people with one objective. A fight for survival would occupy their attention, and this hope for Redeemer would not be able to get that necessary foothold. Perhaps Satan had a chance. Perhaps Satan had a chance. The Old Testament is really the story of how Satan has infiltrated this nation which God has called to be in special relationship with Him. Not because the nation itself, top-notch, but because it was the nation through which God promised the Redeemer. This is the central focus of attention in reading the Bible. At a couple of points in history, Satan was within almost a single person of exterminating this people, through whom the restorer of fellowship and the redeemer of his people would come. The book of Esther should be read in this light. His plan for wiping out this nation was so successful that it was only a miracle of God which saved this people at this time. And then Jesus Christ was born, and battle zone number 3 was created. Hey, let's stop right there, and we'll continue on part 3 on Earth, an arena of war. Rev-Jess Foglesong from Touched by God Church, and we'll see you next time. God's blessings to you and yours today.